Kinshasa's vibrant heartbeat echoed through its crowded streets one gentle evening, a symphony of busy vendors, distant laughter, and music spilling from every corner. Among the chaos, Mobutu Kimbali, the heir to a billionaire legacy, navigated his sleek black car, a symbol of the luxury that defined his life. Yet, beneath his composed exterior lay a yearning for something money couldn't buy: purpose. As he neared a lonely stretch by the Congo River, his headlights revealed a harrowing scene: a young woman, her tear-streaked face etched with anguish, deliberately stepping into the path of an oncoming vehicle in a desperate attempt to end her life. In her trembling hands were a tattered wedding veil and a photograph of a man who had shattered her world mere hours before their wedding. She was left at the altar on the night before her wedding, with the groom mysteriously missing. Mobutu slammed on the brakes, his heart pounding as the vehicle swerved to avoid her. The woman collapsed onto the pavement, sobbing uncontrollably. Driven by an instinct he couldn't ignore, Mobutu rushed to her side, his voice trembling as he asked if she was all right. The woman, later introduced as Monique, exuded a despair so profound it seemed to seep into the humid night air. Her pain was raw and unfiltered, a reflection of a life torn apart by betrayal and hopelessness. In that fateful moment, Mobutu extended his hand, not just to save her life, but to offer her hope, a lifeline to a new beginning. Little did he know, that single act of compassion would ignite a chain of events that would upend his carefully curated world, plunging him into a story of love, betrayal, and redemption that would leave scars on his very soul. Before we take you on this thought-provoking journey, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our story-loving community. Like and share with friends who love a good tale. Mobutu brought Monique to his family's sprawling estate, a mansion overlooking the Congo River with its grand marble staircases and manicured gardens. Monique's initial days were marked by silence, her pain raw and unfiltered. Mobutu, driven by an unexplainable sense of responsibility, introduced her to his father, the formidable Patrice Kimbali, a man known for his sharp business acumen and even sharper judgments of character. Despite initial skepticism, Patrice allowed Monique to stay, captivated by her vulnerability. With Mobutu's encouragement, Monique began working at Kimbali Enterprises, where she quickly proved herself intelligent and resourceful. Her transformation was nothing short of miraculous. From a broken soul, she blossomed into a poised, articulate woman who commanded respect. Mobutu's admiration for her deepened with every passing day, and before long, their bond transcended friendship, evolving into a love that felt both inevitable and intoxicating. Against the backdrop of Kinshasa's opulent high society, their romance became the talk of the town, a beacon of hope and renewal for all who heard their tale. The wedding of Mobutu and Monique was a spectacle that rivaled the grandeur of any royal ceremony. The sprawling event took place at Kinshasa's grandest cathedral, its stained glass windows glowing in the golden sunlight. Nobles, dignitaries, and celebrities from across the Congo filled the pews, their designer outfits a kaleidoscope of vibrant colors and intricate patterns. Monique, resplendent in a gown crafted by a renowned Parisian designer, glided down the aisle, her smile radiant enough to eclipse the chandeliers overhead. Mobutu, dressed in a bespoke suit, waited at the altar, his heart brimming with pride and love. Their vows, spoken in both French and Swahili, resonated deeply with the audience, promising eternal loyalty and devotion. The reception was a feast of music and dance, with traditional Congolese drummers sharing the stage with international performers. Yet, amid the jubilant celebrations, an unease lingered in the air, unnoticed by all but a few, a shadow of what was to come. Married life saw Monique ascending to a position of influence within the Kimbali dynasty. With Mobutu's unwavering support, she expanded her role at the family business, spearheading initiatives that brought unprecedented success. She became a darling of the media, her story of resilience and redemption inspiring countless young women across the Congo. At home, she was a devoted mother to their 4 children, a picture-perfect embodiment of grace and charm. Yet, Mobutu began to notice subtle changes in her demeanor. The woman who had once been grateful and humble now exuded an air of entitlement, her confidence bordering on arrogance. Unbeknownst to Mobutu, Monique had begun to form alliances within his inner circle, building a web of influence that would soon entangle them both. The seeds of betrayal had been sown, hidden beneath layers of charm and sophistication, waiting for the right moment to bloom. The cracks in their seemingly perfect union began to show during a gala hosted by the Kimbali family to celebrate their latest philanthropic venture. Monique, dressed in a glittering gown that captured every flash of the cameras, was the star of the evening. Yet, Mobutu couldn't shake the feeling that her smiles were too calculated, her laughter too rehearsed. As the evening wore on, he overheard whispers among the guests, rumors of Monique's closeness to his best friend, Marcel, a charismatic businessman with a reputation for living on the edge. Mobutu dismissed the rumors as baseless gossip, unwilling to believe that the woman he loved could betray him. But the seed of doubt had been planted, gnawing at his peace of mind. That night, as they drove home in silence, the distance between them felt insurmountable, like the yawning expanse of the Congo River they had crossed together on the night they first met. The love story that had once seemed unbreakable was now haunted by the specter of suspicion and unease. Mobutu's unease grew in the weeks following the gala as whispers about Monique and Marcel refused to fade. He began to notice peculiar behavior, late-night phone calls answered in hushed tones and sudden, inexplicable absences. One evening, he decided to confront her, hoping for reassurance to quell his growing doubts. But Monique's response was a mixture of indignation and dismissal, her charm weaponized to deflect suspicion. Meanwhile, Mobutu's best friend, Marcel, maintained his usual charisma, further complicating Mobutu's emotions. Marcel had been a trusted confidant for years, and Mobutu struggled to reconcile the man he knew with the rumors circulating around him. Desperate for clarity, Mobutu began his own quiet investigation, digging into Monique's recent activities. What he uncovered was the tip of an iceberg: financial discrepancies at Kimbali Enterprises linked to her personal accounts and an unsettling closeness between her and Marcel captured in photographs from discreet gatherings. Torn between his love for Monique and the growing evidence of betrayal, Mobutu found himself at a crossroads, his world teetering on the edge of chaos. Please don't forget to subscribe to Ubuntu Folktales, hit like, share, and drop a comment in the comments section below. Thank you so much. As Mobutu delved deeper into the irregularities at Kimbali Enterprises, the magnitude of Monique's deception began to emerge. She had been siphoning funds from the company's most lucrative projects, redirecting them to offshore accounts under aliases tied to Marcel. Patrice Kimbali, always a shrewd observer, began to sense the turmoil within his son. When Mobutu finally confided in his father, Patrice's reaction was a mix of disappointment and resolve. The Kimbali Empire was more than a business, it was a legacy built over generations, and Patrice would not allow it to crumble under betrayal. Together, father and son devised a plan to trace the embezzled funds and confront Monique with irrefutable evidence. Yet, the confrontation was fraught with risk. Monique's growing influence within their social and professional circles meant that any misstep could turn public opinion against the Kimbali family. Mobutu's love for Monique clashed with his duty to protect his family's legacy, leaving him torn between loyalty and justice. The night of the confrontation arrived with a palpable tension that permeated the Kimbali estate. Mobutu and Patrice had gathered their most trusted allies, ensuring that every detail of their findings was meticulously documented. Monique entered the room, her elegance undiminished despite the storm brewing around her. As Mobutu presented the evidence, her initial denial gave way to a chilling composure. She admitted to the financial misdeeds, but framed her actions as necessary for securing a future independent of the Kimbali shadow. Her words were calculated, a masterful blend of justification and defiance that left even Patrice momentarily speechless. The revelation of her affair with Marcel, however, shattered any pretense of reconciliation. Mobutu, his voice heavy with emotion, demanded to know why she had betrayed the man who had saved her life. Monique's response was as devastating as her actions, a cold, calculated explanation that love had been a tool, a means to an end. For Mobutu, the woman he had adored now seemed like a stranger, her beauty masking a heart of stone. In the aftermath of the confrontation, the Kimbali family faced a storm of scandal and betrayal. News of Monique's actions spread rapidly, with tabloids and social media feeding on the drama. Marcel, exposed as an accomplice, fled Kinshasa, leaving behind a trail of debts and broken relationships. Monique, undeterred by the public backlash, leveraged her alliances to paint herself as a victim of patriarchal oppression within the Kimbali dynasty. Her narrative gained traction among certain circles, further polarizing public opinion. Mobutu, meanwhile, struggled to regain his footing, his once unshakable confidence eroded by heartbreak and humiliation. Patrice, ever the strategist, began to orchestrate a counter-campaign to salvage the family's reputation. Yet, amid the chaos, Mobutu found himself questioning everything: his judgment, his values, and his capacity to forgive. The betrayal had left a scar not just on his heart, but on his identity, forcing him to confront the darkest corners of his soul. Amid the darkness, Mobutu found solace in the unlikeliest of places: his children. Though 3 of them were revealed to be fathered by Marcel, Mobutu refused to let the sins of the past define their future. He poured his energy into being a father, creating a sense of stability and love that had been absent during the tumultuous years of his marriage. Patrice, impressed by his son's resilience, began to entrust Mobutu with greater responsibilities within the company, signaling a path to redemption. Meanwhile, a chance encounter with an old friend introduced Mobutu to a woman whose kindness and authenticity reignited his belief in love. Though cautious, Mobutu allowed himself to hope for a future unburdened by the weight of betrayal. The Kimbali Empire, though scarred, began to heal, its foundation strengthened by lessons learned in the crucible of adversity. And for Mobutu, the journey of rebuilding was not just about restoring his family's legacy but reclaiming his own sense of self-worth and purpose. As Mobutu began to reclaim his sense of purpose, Monique's increasingly erratic behavior took a sinister turn. One fateful evening during a family dinner, Mobutu felt a sudden wave of nausea and dizziness. The symptoms were immediate and severe, and it was only due to the quick intervention of Patrice that Mobutu was rushed to the hospital. Tests revealed traces of a potent toxin in his system, raising suspicions that someone had tried to poison him. All evidence pointed to Monique, though she vehemently denied the accusations, her alibi suspiciously flimsy. Mobutu's trust in her was shattered completely. The incident marked a chilling escalation in their conflict, as Monique's desperation to maintain her luxurious lifestyle seemed to know no bounds. The once vibrant woman Mobutu had loved now appeared as a shadow of her former self, consumed by greed and malice. While Mobutu recovered, Monique executed her most devastating betrayal yet. Through forged documents and dubious negotiations, she managed to sell significant shares of the Kimbali family's empire to foreign investors. The sale was orchestrated without Mobutu's knowledge, and by the time he uncovered the truth, it was too late to reverse the damage. The family's legacy, painstakingly built over generations, now lay in the hands of outsiders. Monique's motives became clear: the funds from the sale were funneled into her extravagant lifestyle. To Mobutu's shock, Monique's scheme seemed to involve a familiar figure, the very man who had jilted her on her wedding eve years ago. The betrayal left Mobutu grappling with a profound sense of loss, not just of wealth but of identity. His determination to restore the family's honor, however, burned brighter than ever, even as the odds stacked against him. With her control over the Kimbali fortune dwindling, Monique resorted to blackmail to extract more money from Mobutu. She threatened to release fabricated evidence implicating him in financial crimes, a move that could ruin his reputation and lead to legal repercussions. Mobutu, unwilling to see his family dragged through more public scandal, reluctantly agreed to her demands, further fueling her lavish spending. But Monique wasn't satisfied. She took the ultimate step, forcing Mobutu out of the very home he had built for their family. In a bitter twist of fate, Monique invited the man who had abandoned her on her wedding eve to move in, rekindling their relationship in plain view of Mobutu's children and the remnants of the Kimbali estate. The humiliation was complete, yet Mobutu refused to be broken. He vowed to fight back, not just for himself, but for his children and the legacy that had been stolen from them. As Monique and her new partner reveled in their ill-gotten gains, cracks began to form in their alliance. The man's overconfidence and arrogance clashed with Monique's desire to maintain control, leading to frequent and increasingly public arguments. Meanwhile, Mobutu worked tirelessly behind the scenes, gathering allies and resources to reclaim what was rightfully his. Patrice, though aging, proved an invaluable source of wisdom and support, helping Mobutu navigate the labyrinth of legal and corporate battles. The tide slowly began to turn as evidence of Monique's fraudulent activities came to light, threatening to dismantle the empire she had tried to build on lies and treachery. Yet, even as her world began to crumble, Monique refused to admit defeat, setting the stage for one final confrontation that would determine the fate of everyone involved. The night of the showdown arrived, shrouded in suspense and uncertainty. Mobutu, backed by a team of loyal allies and armed with incontrovertible evidence, prepared to face Monique and her newfound accomplice one last time. The confrontation took place in the grand hall of the Kimbali estate, now a hollow shell of its former glory. Tensions ran high as secrets and accusations flew, each revelation more shocking than the last. Just as Mobutu seemed poised to deliver the final blow, a startling twist threw everything into chaos. A mysterious figure from Monique's past emerged, holding the key to a secret that could change everything. The room erupted in chaos, leaving the fate of the Kimbali family, Monique, and her accomplice hanging in the balance. The story ends here, not with resolution but with the tantalizing promise of more to come, a reminder that in the world of the Kimbalese, nothing is ever as it seems. Thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button, share it with someone, like the video and tell me about your thoughts in the comments section.